Henley Media when I was 16 years old, and at that point I started working with my wow factor was like, oh my gosh, I'm a freshman, sophomore working with the seniors, like the rappers that are seniors in my high school. Like I really thought I was doing some shit. Like, oh yeah, I'm working with the most popular kids in school, like that drive freaking Jaguars and freaking Corvettes because it's daddy's money, you know, like I thought I was the shit working with the seniors. And then I ended up getting this like opportunity. I started like networking in Atlanta, and I was doing photo shoots around the city and on my Instagram, and I started making internet friends. That's what it was too, like how we are internet friends here. Started making internet connections, and people would live in Atlanta, and some of them would like actually have business opportunities. And I remember this one person put me onto this internship called Rap Plug, and I went. And Rap Plug was wanting to be the LinkedIn industry, the LinkedIn for hip hop. That was literally their pitch. They were the LinkedIn for hip hop, and they wanted to connect high performing industry producers and people that were looking for new talent without their having to go through millions of emails. It's kind of like you can LinkedIn and kind of like pick who you want to work with instead of your emails being blown up as like a, you know, major person and like all that stuff. So it's supposed to be like a networking app for hip hop. And I was part of their startup company, and it was in the Comcast building at Truist Park, which is the Braves stadium. So I was 16 years old, working on the 6th floor of Comcast, overlooking the Braves games from my office at 16 years old. They taught me how to do tour calls. Like I would call people for consultations to see if they would go on DJ tours. And at this point I started getting invited to HBCU events like performances and kickoffs and bashes and fall tours, and they even did South by Southwest. I didn't end up getting to go to that one, but you know, just big events. A3C Festival, I got to do that. That's a really big conference with like Gary Vee and all these people in Atlanta. And I really just learning how to present myself, you know, really me, I'm a sponge, and they kind of messed up putting me in that position so young, because when they realized I wasn't 18, they kicked me out. I never lied about my age. They just didn't ask about it. And then when I told them I wasn't 18, I guess I became a liability because they couldn't have me in the Comcast building, because in Comcast you had to be 18 to get up because they have alcohol and it's a liability and all that, this, that, and the third. So they told me like, whenever you turn 18, you can come back, but I'm 16 years old at this time, right? That's okay, because I had learned enough that I took all of that knowledge and applied it to myself, to my own business, to J. Henley Media. So the same week they kicked me out is the same week my logo ended up right next to theirs on a flyer for media coverage. I went from working with them to my logo, J. Henley Media, being right next to theirs. And Rap Plug doesn't exist anymore. The owner kind of started getting a little like shicey, you know, like with scammy with the money and stuff with the business, so it didn't really last too long. But that is when I started working with all these like celebrities, and you know, obviously when I wasn't with Rap Plug anymore, I had to represent myself. And at this point I'm not 18, and these celebrities, these hip-hop, these rappers are way older than me. They have no idea I'm underage. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to lie and tell people I was 19 when I was 16, because I knew nobody was going to have a 16-year-old in that room with them. It was too much of a liability. But I had a dream, and I had determination, and I wasn't in there for anything that would make me liable. Okay, I was in there to make pictures, like to take pictures of them working, to make connections, to make money, and to grow. Like I had no intentions, and that's when I really learned how to assert myself. This is a long conversation, but it all circles back That's when I really learned how to assert myself in business situations and really tell people no when they would try to get a little flirty or try to get a little like, you know, I'm a pretty female. Like, they wanted to sleep with me. I'm not going to lie. But I would learn how to respectfully assert a business boundary to where I would still be invited back and respected, even though I wasn't on that kind of timing with them, you know. And then I became one of the bros, and like, it got to the point where I was working with YSL, like Lil Keed and Lil Got It, all of them, rest in peace Lil Keed. But I was working with them for weeks at a time, to the point where I was at that studio so much that that's when I got signed on Retainer by Black Elvis, which is a Grammy award-winning producer who years later I found out produced Fergie, you know. So it's just like, that's what I like try to reassure people when I get into relationships, that I know what I'm on. I know my intentions. I know my heart. I know my boundaries. I know that it's never going to work out. Look at Diddy. Seriously. Like, I hate that, but business and pleasure just don't fucking work out. It just doesn't. And so that's like, I try to build that confidence. Like, listen, I know what I'm on. I know how to assert myself in these boundaries. Like, I know how to fucking let people know when too far is too far. And I know when to let people, like, I know how to express what I want from this situation. Like, I want business. I want to be able to be your photographer. I want to go on tour and be a woman photographer. I want to be respected and seen as such and nothing more. I don't want to be seen as a piece of meat. I don't want to be seen as a sex object. I don't. And so then, you know, getting older, coming to LA, I kind of got a little distracted by these girls. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But it really distracted me because it's the fast cash. It's the like quick come up, you know, and I'd started to ditch all of my intelligence for a quick come up. And I didn't do anything like super explicit. Like, I've never ever compromised my morals to the extreme of, like, you know, there's no like tapes out of me at all or anything like that. Like, I never went far, but I would sell my bikini pictures and, you know, like stuff like that. And that's why I took my OnlyFans down, mostly because I'm so much smarter than that. And I don't want my future business clients to secretly be subscribed to me. And no matter how much I express that I want to be taken seriously, they just won't, because they have a different view set in their mind of me, you know? I think about that a lot, and sometimes I feel like I'm overthinking it, and sometimes I feel like I'm underthinking it, but I just kind of do what feels right in my heart, if that makes sense. But I'm not a groupie bitch. Like, I'm so good. I learned that most celebrities, well, all celebrities are fucking human, and most of them are shitty. Most of these celebrities that people look up to are shitty individuals because they're so entitled. J-Lo, she's not that great of a person. Jamie Foxx, he's rude as fuck. I know that personally. Black China, she's not that nice. You know, Mulatto, I didn't necessarily have the nicest experience with her. Not saying they're bad people. Maybe I just met them on bad days. You know, it really does bring, these people are so big, it really makes you like, wow, like, you ever put a godlike complex on people and you know you shouldn't, and you accidentally do it? That's just when I learned, like, these people aren't supposed to be idolized like this. Even me, that's why I show you guys so much of my transparency, because I don't want to be idolized in a way that is false. I never want you to have a false persona of me. And also, I want the whole world to know how fucking hard I work for my shit. Because I go through blood, sweat, and tears for a vision that only I could see until I started becoming so vocal about it. And now people on Bigo, you guys see it even when I do. The visions become so much larger than myself. And so it's just like, that's why you have to have blind faith. And that's why I had that whole spew with you guys about having faith the other day. It was a really heartfelt conversation because it's something that I'm really learning, you know, like things are not always going to go in our control, but sometimes that's beautiful.